And welcome to today's edition of the Locker Room on Voice of the People TV. I am your host, Jerry Alpeliohai, and we've gone to a thrilling show for you today with loads of action happening in the exciting world of football. Joining me today is the usual one. Definitely, I will not go controversial as far as introduction is concerned. The usual one that it is today. Okocha, it's great to have you once again on Locker Room. Lots to ponder on.
Yes, Jerry, good evening and good evening, our viewers. It's a very wonderful day to talk football here in Locker Room. And yes, like you said, it's a lot to ponder on. So many things happening in the world of football as regards from the home front and, of course, the foreign scenes. So many things from Victor Osimhen's story down to, Super Eagles and, of course, the Flying Eagles as well. So, yes, it's a lot to unpack here in the Locker Room.
All right, and don't forget to stay tuned, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell for those of you who are watching us via the YouTube platform, and those of you watching us on LCL TV. You can call in via the WhatsApp number beaming under your screen, and definitely we would like to take your comments as the show progresses. You can also drop your comments via chat, or you can call in via the WhatsApp number showing on your screen to join the conversation. Of course, Mario gets to also join us virtually. Before he does that, let's start off with Nigerian football legend, Austin J.J. Okocha. He was good, that's why they named him twice. And he has called on the country's leaders and politicians to invest more in sports infrastructure and management. He believes that with better support, Nigerian athletes can reach their full potential and bring glory to the nation. Okocha made the appeal in an interview emphasizing the need for improved facilities and professional coaching to nurture young talent. Okocha also shared his thoughts on the Super Eagles' chances of qualifying for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. And despite the team's current struggles, with just one win in 6 matches, Okocha remains optimistic, saying, "If I say we don't have any chance, I will be telling lies." He believes the team can still qualify, whether through playoffs or other means. Okay, let's start off with investing in sports. Talking about well-meaning Nigerians, I think Okocha will have to take the lead too. Since he stopped playing football, what investment has he made? Has he set up an academy? Has he set up pitches all around? Let's say, for instance, he's from Delta State. He's from Ogwashuku, if I'm really correct in that one. His mother is from Enugu. What has he done in his community in Ogwashuku? What has he done in his community, even in Lagos? Has he used his influence? Because a lot of footballers do it. They use their influence, talk to their ex-footballers, and arrange international friendlies, maybe once in a year, to generate funds, even if it's not from his pocket direct. At least if he has a foundation that, that every year we're going to be building 10 pitches or grassroots we'll just select some local government. If he has done something like that, by now, imagine how many pitches we'll have across all the 774 local governments in Nigeria. Other players can take from that. And if they are doing that, Okocha could actually approach Dangote and say, "This is what I want to do. Please, I need 100 million naira. I want to do this. You're going to be recognized for it. I'm going to do this." What have they done themselves? Most of our footballers, mostly Nigerian footballers, I see some of them, they're only about themselves. I'm not trying to throw sticks. We've seen players like Sadio Mane, for instance. He built a hospital in his village, set up a lot of things. How many Nigerian footballers have done that for their community? I see them when they come back home. They will arrange a 5-a-side competition, share old jerseys to people, share 10,000 naira or something, give some old boots and so on and so forth. They will still, even in that competition, still be looking for talent that they will sell and become agents to, so that they will even make money from, and not giving genuinely back to the people. I'm not saying some of them have not tried their best, but it's still not enough compared to what their counterparts are doing abroad.
Well, Jerry, this is a very sensitive conversation.
Yes.
And of course, like they always say, tomorrow is for those who plan, and of course, the future is for those who actually worked hard yesterday. The truth is that what JJ is actually saying is quite very, very instructive. And of course, I understand what you're saying as well, that how much has he given back? I mean, a player like JJ, the level he actually, played football to, so good they named him twice, or captain of Super Eagles at the same time, captain of Bolton, arguably one of Africa's greatest. And of course, in the late 90s to early 2000, he was arguably one of the biggest stars. At some point, he was the most expensive player in Africa. We can go on and on. This guy's CV is so packed. But the big question is, let's look at his counterpart abroad, right? People who he actually played football with at the same time, right? The likes of David Beckham, the likes of Zinedine Zidane, the likes of Ronaldo da Lima. The big question we should be asking ourselves, how much of an investment have his counterpart across board made for their own country? The big question is no, right? In terms of their own football development. The truth is this. What JJ is saying is about...
Well, I think I'll beg to disagree with players like David Beckham, for instance. He's still giving back to football.
No. See, giving back to football, right?
And even his own community.
Giving back to football is different from what JJ is actually saying. Now, we are talking about setting a project, an infrastructure for development. Individuals cannot do it. It's a government thing. In France, we talked about a few days ago how France actually moved, from an obscure nation in the 80s in terms of football, right? In 88, when they started their project, from that time the project kicked off. France, till date, has one of the best young players in Europe consistently, right? If you look at the French national team today, many of them are quite young. I mean, in 2018 World Cup, we saw them quite young. In 2014, the same thing. Back to when they won their first World Cup in '98. Look at England. They started a project in 2012. Look at how far it has taken them. Look at Morocco. They started a project in 2009. Look at how far it has taken them. See, these things cannot be done by an ex-footballer or a private individual. It can only be done by the government.
The government alone cannot do it, because a lot of people in government bother about a lot of things. For instance, let's say the sport minister. Most of the time, the sport minister is just about, let me spend 4 years, gather what I can do. Everybody's just for propaganda, for show. Not really about sport development. I can say maybe Sunday Diary of recent tried the funding of sport athletes, and we know how we benefited from it. The likes of, was it Toby Amushon, I want to remember right now, went ahead and shocked the world. Such kind of projects was engineered, private and public sector partnership. The public sector giving them the opportunity to invest in these athletes. The private sector brought the money. It was not government money. And that is why some of those athletes were able to go abroad, get the necessary preparation they needed to participate in those championships. Now, what I'm saying is that the private sector has a major role to play, because most especially the way our leaders mostly are, most of them are accidental leaders. They're not even leaders who are deliberate in terms of, for instance, if they want to appoint a sport minister, we'll find a situation where the man might be somebody who has no next to nothing about sports. Of recent, we had Eno, for instance, who has no business being a sport administrator, but he was running sport. So people like JJ Okocha could actually go and meet him. I've always hammered, why not have a situation? We have 774 local governments. I remember back then, Ogbemudia time, when Ogbemudia was the governor of the old Bendel, they created the Games Village in Afuze. I knew a lot of athletes that were produced through that Games Village. Have a Games Village in all the 774 local governments. In that Games Village, there should be world-class swimming pool, world-class basketball. Coaches from abroad should be brought in to train coaches in various sports Nigeria has strength and talent in. Boxing and so on and so forth.
Jerry,
if you do that,
nobody can outspend the government.
Yeah, the
so
government
who is going to build those Game Village?
I'm saying that we have great boxers, for instance, who have done well in boxing, who have done well in athletics. If they can come together with who's now in charge of sports, I think Sheudiko and Co, meet together, have a master plan. Okay, we are going to talk to Dangote, we're going to talk to others, rich individuals, rich companies, multinationals, oil companies, NNPC, and so on and so forth. Let's come together. Let's build a Games Village in all the local governments where all these facilities are.
I think that's exactly what JJ is saying. I mean, invest in infrastructure. See, Jerry, a country's project, right, transcends whoever it is in the office at that point. Yeah. So exactly. So
most of the time they are looking for self-aggrandizement,
so the fact that you are in office now, you try to do the little you can, and then you leave. That's not a project. We are saying
you're not planning for the future.
Exactly. Dan Ashworth was the mastermind behind the English project. It started in 2012. Where is Dan Ashworth today? It's not even there again. But somebody else will continue that project. There's a project running. It's a government, it's a national project. So that's exactly what JJ is saying. Like, for example, we have what we call the Nigerian games, right? The Eco 2012, I think there's an event.
Remember, we had all African games in 2002.
Yes, that's an all African. I'm talking about the Nigerian version of the all African games, right? Yeah. We can have a project
National
like that.
Sports Festival.
National Sports Festival, that's the word. We can have a project like that will bring out this best of talent and then put them in a particular game village, right? You don't have to build game village across the country. Set up this sort of and then bring the best inside that village. Groom them for a couple of years. See, every country, the reason why America dominates Olympics, right, is because they understand that there's a project for Olympics and that project runs every single year. The best of talent, the people that will go to the next Olympics after this one have already started coming into camp. So they understand that, okay, these guys will start training in the next 3-4 years. They will be ready for this, and they start going for all that kind of tournaments. So what JJ is simply saying is this sort of investment should be made available. Invest in infrastructure, get a project ready so that you can actually have, okay, look at our national team. It is sad. Look at the coloration of that national team. You understand that a good number of that national team players are not homegrown. The years the Super Eagles dominated Africa, a good number, see, in 94, the players that played for the Super Eagles were homegrown. If we had gone to 96 and 98 Nations Cup, we would have won at least one of those 2 Nations Cup because we had the best team in Africa at that point, right? We produced at least 2 African footballers of the year during that period. No, 3, right? We had Rashidi Yekini, we had Victor Ekpeba, we had Emmanuel Aminike, we have kind of 4, right? We're not even talking about those who came second. Now, in that particular, now, up until 2002, after 2002, the players that went to the World Cup, look at that, the coloration of that players. We had the likes of Efetobore Soje. We had other players who actually came and they were actually not homegrown. That was where we missed it. And from that point, we started looking at players from other parts of Africa and, of course, other parts of the world. Most of our national team today, only Osimhen and perhaps maybe Moses Simon are key players. And Wilfred Ndidi are key players that are homegrown. Just imagine the national team today.
Or even Ahmed Musa is homegrown.
Ahmed Musa is not national team.
Mayo, it's great to have you join us today. We're just talking about JJ Okocha, who is saying that our leaders should invest in sports infrastructure. And definitely, I was first to call him out. What has he done to also support the infrastructure of sports and football especially? We've seen other great footballers do it. Our footballers are all about themselves. And at the end of the day, when they go broke or something, they start looking for Nigerians who will help them, who will give back to them, who will come and save them from obscurity and stuff. I'm not one for that.
Jerry.
Because I always want to look at your track record. Because if Sadio Mane does not have 2 heads, if Sadio Mane can give back to his community the way he's giving, I know a lot of Nigerian footballers that even earn even more than Sadio Mane. But how many of them are giving back? You know, at the end of the day, you see them when they retire from football, when they get duped of some money they wanted to double. You know, when they've done a CBS on one Ponzi scheme and they get duped, you start telling us we are broke. You know. Anyway, but let's just go and talk about infrastructure. He just made mention of the government. The private sector will have to play a major role because most of the people at the end of the day who get appointed in government positions when it comes to sport, as some people even know next to nothing about sports administration. So what we need to do, people like Okocha and the greats in those various sports should be able to advise them and make sure they direct them to make sure they invest properly in sport infrastructure.
Well, it's always amazing to be here. And apologies if you are hearing the crowd somewhere and that is why you are hearing that.
I hope you're not on your way to Rabiji.
Well, I'm close to Rabiji anyway, so.
All right. Great to have you.
I mean, the Okocha very correct. Friends to a particular national that to be safe. You remember Odegbami contested the first president. That what happened? Most of our ex-nationals run football. Why are they? The reason is not far. Very simple. There is no enabling environment for them to be able to thrive in. Be honest, sports in Nigeria has been praised. Only a few of them, like the likes of Kanu Nwankwo, that is part of a particular. However, even in it's run, it's not, it's not privately run. So government remove their hand and who have the actual, trust to the prerequisite to run football. That is going to see our internationals come back to run football. Even no interest, there is no enabling environment for them to be able to succeed. Where did Gusau came from? Where did Gusau go by a particular name? It was just because a particular region felt particular region has done their own. It's time for us to do our own. Then a particular caucus. If had a guy who is our next international, who at least knows some football, it was a caucus. But they went to bring a Gusau that has not done anything, but that anything spectacular in Zamfara State to run our football. So the thing is until we remove politics from our football will never grow. And another thing that is also very, very important, when we talk about infrastructure and the rest of that, I remember when they opened the Abuja Stadium in 2003. Go to the Abuja Stadium right now. You will start shedding tears because of the state it is. It is because government continue to interfere in this. They use this, this kind of avenue to do their politicking. That is the reason why infrastructures go bad. Because you appoint a particular, somebody there to oversee it because you want to do him a political favor, and the person is just there to embezzle money. The person is not interested in growing sports or in doing anything tangible. How many of our state FAs, how many of them run any grassroots football? How many of them? What are the state FAs, the 36 state FAs? What are they doing as regards growing something tangible from the grassroots to put in place a semblance of a structure in the grassroots? Is zero to none. How many state FA chairmen, how many of them know anything about running of football? So these are the conversations we need to begin to have before we even think about, the national side. Ikechukwu made mention of something that is very, very important. He talked about the US structure where, the next Olympics, they already have people who are already training and the rest of that. There is a master plan for that. You have people in college already, participating in competitions to prepare them for the Olympics. Majority of those that go to Olympics for America, some of them are from the university. They are from the university setup, and it's because they put in place this structure. Until we replicate that in Nigeria, there is no way we need to succeed. There is no way we are going to succeed. Government and politicians, they need to answer football if we want to grow. If not, we'll continue to have the and pardon my language, the foreign national team that we are boasting to be Nigerian national team. We'll continue to have that until government removes their hand from war. If not, we'll continue discussing this, for years to come, to be honest with you.
All right. The Super Eagles is now having the coloration of a football club. Yeah, where you have to sign foreign-based players to be able to win championships. But it is what it is. Anyway, what I've always said is that I know that somehow, hook or crook, Nigeria will get it right. But definitely somebody has to say something. And if people like Okocha is talking, I want him to match it with action. He should be able to lead and let others follow. Because one, the thing is that I know of the opinion that when the so-called people who know how to do it come to meet those who don't know how to do it, most especially in the government circle. For instance, I have spoken to, let me use Onigbide for example. Onigbide said when he was the so-called technical director of the NFF, that he has a lot of white papers that he presented to the then NFA that could actually make Nigerian football better for it. But you find out that they continue to politicize it because they believe that he will take their shine. And he felt, okay, since I keep on making proposals, it's just like a ceremonial position. None of his ideas or plans were carried out. So you see how frustrated he already is. He has no hands off. If you call Onibide now and say, we want to talk about Nigerian football, Onibide will say, Jerry, let's not waste time. It's not going to fly. It's not going to go far. Imagine so many other people who have come to the NFF with beautiful ideas on how they can move Nigerian football forward. But just because the person who is in charge, who's going to listen to that proposal, is not interested in it, is not seeing how he's going to benefit directly. And even for that, your paper, for him to submit it to the sports minister, he will tell you that if anything comes out of it, this is my percentage. He will even be asking you that came without any intention of giving anybody. You say, what are you going to use to wet ground? At least we need transport money just to deliver this paper and at least champion it. They will not, because all of them are about, okay, what is in it? What are they going to get from it? So by the time we continue to have people like that running our sport, we'll continue to have a situation where we'll go and be begging people. Like now, even athletes, it has even gone to athletes. Athletes from abroad will now be coming to say they want to switch allegiance to Nigeria. That means America did not accept them, other countries did not accept them, so they want to now run for Nigeria. They want to participate in the Olympics on behalf of Nigeria. Nigeria is a failed country when it comes to sport. We're just trying to be one of them as far as football is concerned. If, for instance, a country like England has the pool of talent Nigeria has in terms of football, I'm telling you, England would have won countless World Cups.
Jerry.
But unfortunately, that's not the case.
Jerry, go and write this thing down somewhere. In the next, if the way we are going, in the next couple of years, say in the next 10 years, if we don't do anything about our sport, our female team will be dominated by foreign-born Nigerians as well. You started seeing them now. You started, they started coming, you know, exactly how it is. And that's the pattern. You see them, they start coming, and in the next couple of years, our homegrown girls that have won Nations Cup 9 times will not be good enough. That's exactly where we are headed. And see, at that point, whoever it is that is the NFF chairman has no business with developing sport. He knows that, hey, we have Nigerians that are born abroad. Just invite this one. The rejected stone from every part of the world. Just bring them together and, you know, hire a coach for them, and that's all. See, if we must get this thing right, we must be very deliberate about our success. Again, you were talking about, you know, JJ and the likes, you know, what they have to do. And see, if JJ will eventually want to invest in sports, he will do that based off just as a businessman. Set up an academy and then perhaps link with one of the academy club side in Europe and then ship players. That's what he will do. But say to build a national project, he cannot do it. No player will do it anywhere in the world. David Beckham is one of the owners of Inter Miami. That's the best players will do.
Even the Israeli league, South Africa, we're even going far. South Africa,
Senegal
Egypt,
here.
Morocco.
Senegal here, Morocco.
Even Morocco is looking at players born abroad. But what they are doing is that they are setting up a system to monitor them from youth and start preparing them that you are going to play for Morocco in the future. Not that France is your first option, it did not work out for you. You are now coming to switch to play for Morocco. Then you can have some few. That's why you saw Morocco at the World Cup. They went as far as the semi-finals. Even if you are going to do something, do it well. Let it work out. Let us see success in it. But in Nigeria, we see situation, even for instance, Saka comes tomorrow, at least we've heard players who say that as good as they are, they wanted to play for the Super Eagles. Somebody in the NFF was saying that they will have to settle because they believe that this player needs it more than any other thing. They need to play for the Super Eagles at all costs. Well, imagine that kind of scenario.
Yeah, you see, this Morocco and their foreign players actually, you know, have this number of foreign players they have, or foreign-born players rather, that they have in this present-day team. I don't think it's a fair judgment on the Super Eagles. The truth is this: Morocco does not have the number of talents Nigeria has as a country. Okay, they have rich talent and then they now have the infrastructure to do it. England will never look outside for English-born players to be their first score for the national team. They will not do it. So this
Brazil.
Those sort of countries. So
those guys have working leagues.
So the thing is this, right? Well, the thing is this: the government can actually build stadiums, right? Build stadium and then hand it over to private sector. Right. Tell them to manage. We have money managers now, as much as we have people who manage properties.
Okocha made mention of something that is very interesting. Talking about the qualification for the World Cup, Maiwa, he said that despite the team scoring struggles with just one win in 6 matches, he remains optimistic, saying if he says that we don't have any chance, he'll be telling lies. He believes the team can still qualify, whether through playoffs or other means. What other means is he talking about? That means he's not considering that this team is even going to make it through
playoff or direct qualification.
Other means.
That's the other means now.
That means if they have to disqualify South Africa or disqualify
playoff
the country that
or direct
other means doesn't mean the actual means.
No,
qualifying
that's it
from
now.
the table. That means one team might be disqualified.
No, Jerry. The direct qualification or other means.
Playoffs means that
we have two means now to qualify for the World Cup.
The means of qualifying for the World Cup is through the group stage, play the group,
top the group,
or
playoff. That's what he meant.
Then playoff or other means means that
it just came up. Playoff came first.
Playoff came first, meaning that after the group stage.
No, Jerry, he used the word like that.
Maiwa, I don't know.
He used the word like that.
He's trying to confuse himself and confuse us here. He's trying telling us that the position we are not going to qualify through the group. We are going to qualify either through playoff or that means maybe a disqualification from one team or the other, or something miraculous happens. Other means.
He said,
Maiwa.
Mark 92. Denmark were not sorry 92. European Championship in 1992. Denmark was not supposed to be there.
Yes.
Already beat from nowhere. A week to the competition, they decided to call them up, disqualify the Yugoslav, then decided to call them up, and they went up to win. So, never say never. It might happen in the case of Nigeria. However, the thing is this: I think as Nigerians, we should begin to think of the quality. And I'm not trying to sound pessimistic or to that some that is not patriotic Nigeria over any other country. If we are based on the organization, I don't think we deserve at the World Cup, and that's just the patriotic. We might want our optimism. We can do it. Okocha just want to be
okay. Maiwa,
make it to the playoff stage because the bottom line is
we're finding it difficult to really hear you due to the technical glitch coming from your end. Anyway, I understand that you say that Nigeria does not deserve. Yeah, we can hear you faintly, but not really clearly. Okay, I know he was trying to say that Nigeria does not deserve to be at the World Cup with what we've done so far. Yeah, to be unfair to teams like South Africa and Rwanda who have paid their dues as far as the group stage and the results they've gotten is concerned. Even Lesotho have also done well for themselves, and even Benin Republic. And for the Super Eagles, they've not really prepared themselves well to be a part of the World Cup. I think now they should start planning for, I think not 2026, 2030. Yeah, they should start planning for 2030 now, because this is the same thing we did in 2022. We kept on having false hope, and we played the draw. I think that one, it was even easier. We just needed one game over 2 legs against Ghana just to win at home, because we've already done the business of drawing away against Ghana. We just needed to win at home in Abuja. Thomas Partey, of blessed football memory. Anyway, let's talk about Victor Osimhen's Galatasaray takes on Trabzonspor in the Turkish Cup final today. And Osimhen has scored 3 goals and provided 1 assist in 3 appearances in this competition. And Galatasaray last won the Turkish Cup in the 2018-2019 season and is aiming for a domestic double. Manager Okan Buruk expects a tough match but hopes for a good game that will please fans. Osimhen has had an impressive season with 33 goals and 8 assists in 38 games for Galatasaray. Anthony Wakemi has been given chances with the Super Eagles, but it seems like he's not a national team player. There's something about him. He's good when he plays for his club side, but he's not been able to replicate that from each time he was given a chance with the Super Eagles. I think he has given up playing for the national team. And I would like to see this game. Very, very interesting to see Victor Osimhen pick his first title with the Galatasaray.
It's going to be huge for them. I mean, Osimhen is more like a demigod now in Turkey, and this is going to be a perfect farewell because it's obvious he's not going to renew his contract with them. He's definitely want to leave. Of course, I expect him to do that because I don't think this is the level he should be playing at this point. And of course, for his fellow compatriot, talking about Emeka, I think it's going to be a very epic encounter, knowing that this may perhaps be the last time he's going to also be seeing Victor Osimhen, or playing in the final a game with him. But then it's going to be a very interesting game. I mean, two Nigerians, either way, one of the Super Eagles players will definitely be putting on the medal of that particular Turkish championship. We know how cup ties can be very tricky. You might be looking at Galatasaray as favorite, but then going into that particular game, it's a cup game. Anybody can actually just pick it at the end of the day. I just wish the best man luck at the end of the day, even though pointers would definitely want to pick Galatasaray looking at their form and how they've been able to conduct business all through the season. But it's going to be a very big game for them. And I would say congratulations in advance to whoever is going to actually pick up the medal at the end of the day.
All right, definitely Galatasaray, all biggest transfer sports, one to watch out for, the final of the Turkish Cup. All right, let's talk about West Ham United is preparing to bid for Club Brugge midfielder Rafael Onyedika in the summer transfer window. The 24-year-old Nigerian international has been impressive for Club Brugge this season, playing a crucial role in their recent Belgian Cup success and helping the team defend their Belgian Pro League title. Onyedika's impressive displays have also attracted interest from Italian giants AC Milan and La Liga club Barcelona, which could spark a bidding war for the defensive midfielder. Definitely, if you're Rafael Onyedika, you know the club you pick between Barcelona, AC Milan, and of course West Ham.
I mean, I will not even second guess it. If he goes to Barcelona, he's not going to get game time. AC Milan, maybe a little. He might really just get to play, and then maybe the coach might, he might just have one or two good games and then perhaps get opportunity to cement his jersey. West Ham is the easiest, the closest for him to actually get his jersey and really play. I think this is a team that will really give him the exposure that he needs. Now that we have Wilfred Ndidi that is actually going to the championship, we need somebody in the middle of the Super Eagles that is a top player in a top league. That's what we need. I mean, coming from Belgium, of course, to Premier League, playing for a Premier League side, it's a huge one for Rafael Onyedika. I think after West Ham actually lost Declan Rice, they've been huge decline in that particular team. Of course, David Moyes' departure also added to that. But then they need somebody who is going to be their midfield marshal. And Rafael Onyedika has also shown throughout the season that he's a player that has really stepped up. We saw his masterclass against Manchester City, and that guy actually proved that yes, he's that player who you can actually count on in the big moments. And it's so unfortunate that even till now, with all of his doing all through the season, he's still behind Wilfred Ndidi in the pecking order of the Super Eagles. For me, I don't find that comfortable because these are the sort of character or sort of attitude that encourage mediocrity. Wilfred Ndidi has not given his best all through the season, so why will he play ahead of Rafael Onyedika? But perhaps this move might just cement that, knowing that yes, I mean, we also know that Wilfred came from Belgium, right? So knowing that he has also moved to England, and of course he's playing in a league that is higher than Wilfred Ndidi is, if Wilfred Ndidi at the end of the day moves to championship. So I think it's a big move for him, and of course it's going to really help the Super Eagles a lot.
All right, definitely I would like to see how that pans out for West Ham United. I don't know if they're going to make any of the European Cup games this next season, but for AC Milan, they're going to be playing in Europe alongside Barcelona. Definitely, it's a lot to think about, but it's now going to be which one is more serious the most.
I don't think Barcelona is going. He should be out of it because trust me, if Caicedo comes back the young midfielder that was actually very, very impressive this season before he got injured. They have him in the heart of Barcelona. I mean, he was the one who was playing before De Jong actually came back, and of course De Jong is now the mainstay. If he comes back, of course, you know how Barcelona cherish their La Masia project, especially when they're actually that good. So forget it. Frank Goenka is going to struggle in Barcelona. It's going to be like what happened to Alex Song, that actually moved from Arsenal when he was at his A game, and then he went to Barcelona, and that was the end of his career. So for me, I would not advise Barcelona move. Of course, AC Milan is a place where he can actually get a fair chance to actually compete for jersey. If he
improve his game.
Yes, and improve his game. So AC Milan is also a very good move for him. But then the question is, if he goes there and he fails to actually live up to bidding, there will be no time, because there will be a lot of pressure on him to actually deliver. But if it comes to West Ham, it's a very good point. It's still very young, 24. If he can play 2 seasons at the top of the game, there's no ways he won't actually be moving, because moving to West Ham is going to expose him to major league in Europe. Whatever it is he does in West Ham can actually be replicated in any of the top 5 leagues in the world. So for me, I think West Ham is the best point of call. It's going to be, the club will be patient because they are not very ambitious, and it's going to be offer him a lot of exposure, because it's going to be in the Premier League.
What about the pressure with titles, playing for Barcelona and AC Milan?
Exactly.
Winning titles.
See, the pressure, that pressure of titles will be the biggest problem he's going to be having with those both clubs.
He's already facing such pressure with Club Brugge. Club Brugge is challenging for the title.
Club Brugge is almost one of the biggest teams in that particular league, right? If he moves to Barcelona, Barcelona is like, you just have to win something. The pressure will be there. Every single game you'll be scrutinized. He's not exposed. He's not at that level. If he
might also be covered, because they have a lot of superstars in that team who could actually, whatever he plays, will rub off, and everybody will enjoy the titles at the end of the day. At least Lamine Yamal could do a lot of big job.
Now, the problem is when he gets game time, Frankie de Jong is never going to play ahead of Frankie de Jong. He's never going to play ahead.
Maybe he'll do the Emmanuel Adebayo. Doesn't care. Make more money. Stay on the bench and win titles.
So who wins at the end of the day? If you win the title and you rarely play game, who wins? Nigeria loses. Of course, the only thing that is coming to you is the money, right? But nothing else. I mean, your career is not going to progress.
Of course, if he's playing for Barcelona, they will have no option to invite him to the Super Eagles. So even if he's on the bench,
that's why I say who wins. The Super Eagles will not win, because we're not going to get the best of him.
Yeah, and maybe anyway, definitely a lot of fingers crossed as far as that move is concerned. Okay, Maiwa, we're just talking about Rafael Yedika. Options on the table: Barcelona, AC Milan, and West Ham United. Where would you want to see him play?
Well, I think it will be for AC Milan. There is no pressure with AC Milan. AC Milan, they are still in the building, and a bit of consistency. The pressure with AC Milan, so definitely. And if you look at the AC Milan midfield, the midfield has been let them down. They need somebody like Onyedika and help them show up the midfield. At least help them break, and help in terms of in the midfield for them. So Rafael Onyedika will be very perfect for an AC Milan. I think the competition will be much, the pressure will be too much before it will be that La Masia guy, and there's a Frankie de Jong. When the come, Frankie Sedo might be fighting for that shirt, then Onyedika becomes a third up, which is sad for him. Another club that will be very fantastic, in as West Ham do not of ambition. However, West is an EPL club. He gets to rub shoulder, top EPL players, and that would expose him, to how fast the EPL is. Will even help improve his game. Definitely playing for a West Ham, you want to keep up with the head of it, and that will make you. A typical example is an Olaino. Olaino has raised the exam for the reason why top clubs in the EPL are coming from him. So personally, I think the best move that probably expose him more, I will choose the move, because you get to play with bigger guys in the EPL. Also sign a contract. He should not make the mistake and sign a 7, because if he has a breakout season and top clubs in the EPL will want to, the longer contract will tie him down, and he will start having a back and he's 24. Go to West, prove how important you are. Do 2 years behave like the bigger club than West Ham. So for me, I would say probably West Ham first. If West Ham does not work out, it was a good shot. Barcelona is a no.
All right, the fear of competition could actually derail him of an opportunity to maybe outshine other players. Who knows? When I go to Barcelona,
outshine the young.
He might not outshine the young.
So how is
the
he
young
going to
is
play?
injury prone.
There's
of
a
late.
Casedo.
Yeah, if Casedo is also injured, what stops Oyedika for stepping up?
So we should be waiting. What happens if the both of them stay?
The thing is that there are situations where the first and second option gets injured, and the third option is doing well, and the coach believes that no need to disrupt the setup. Let's continue to use what is working. It happens. We've seen it happen in football. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
He could actually go to Barcelona and succeed and do well, because I think we are even underrating the quality of Frank Onyedika. We saw him against Manchester City in the Champions League just this season. He was fantastic. He, of course, with those games, he was able to show the world that he has the quality to marshal any midfield and even score goals in the Champions League. How many midfielders could actually add goals to their play time? Even Frankie de Jong, as big as he is, he's a fantastic midfielder. But does he add goals? Frank Onyedika will give you the option. He doesn't need to add goals.
Exactly, it's not the
to
minus.
be a great player.
It's not the minus.
No, I'm just saying that for Frank Onyedika, he can use that as a yardstick to have game time in any team. Because when the attack is no longer giving goals,
not in any team, not in any team. You can use that as a game time to you can use that as a reason to have game time in some teams. Not teams like Barcelona.
Definitely, Barcelona too. Barcelona is not left out of it.
No, Jerry. See,
Barcelona is not left out. Let's not go into that. But let's talk about Manchester United's Europa League final hopes are hit by injuries to Lenny Yoro and Matis De Ligt. Yoro hobbled off with a foot injury during Sunday's 2-0 defeat to West Ham United and was absent from training on Wednesday. De Ligt, who had returned from a foot injury, picked up a knee injury during United's match against Brentford and was also missing from training. The injuries add to Manchester United's defensive woes, with Lisandro Martinez already ruled out for the season. And of course, Ruben Amorim, the manager, will have to rely on other options, including Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, Nassero Mazraoui, and Victor Lindelof for the Europa League final against Tottenham Hotspur. The injuries keep piling up for Manchester United. Even when Lenny Yoro was there, I didn't see any much difference. They were still conceding goals with reckless abandon at home. I think among the club sides below the table, Manchester United has conceded more goals just for the taking. And fortunately for them, they are not playing at Old Trafford. If not, it would have been a disastrous one. It seems like the fans, the toxic Manchester United fans, have made life difficult for their football team, that they now traditionally lose at home, because they continue to tell them that you have nothing to offer. You continue to lose. How do you tell your team that you will lose? Continue to hammer it to them. How toxic can that be? Anyway, they are playing in Bilbao this time around.
So the thing is, ever since I told you how toxic Liverpool fan base is, there's no day you start talking about my United fan base without adding the word toxic. But then, no problem.
Is that not toxic?
No problem.
Is that how to be toxic? You be singing to your team on the home ground, telling them that you are not special.
They didn't stop them from buying things now.
Eh?
They didn't stop them from buying things.
Let's Maiwa, you said what?
They are being honest. They lost 17.
They are being honest. Okay.
Being honest now.
Okay, I like very toxic in being honest. You be singing instead of encouraging your team. You are being honest. Is that the best time to be honest? I love the honesty of Manchester United fans.
But this injury will not deter United. That trophy is coming to Old Trafford, the Europa League.
Yeah, because Maguire is available.
That's so. United's.
Maguire has been awesome.
That's
for
United's
United.
Europa League ticket. But that ticket, final.
What happens if United?
Champions League.
What happens if United lose the final?
There's no if. There's no if.
No, I'm saying
there's no if.
Football is 50-50.
Maybe you can ask my wife, but for me, there's no if.
What happens?
United wins.
What happens to United's season if they lose
my
the
wife
final?
tell him there's no if.
Is this? No, there will be no if. However, if we lose, it's going to be a disaster season. And
Oh my! See, even my Man United, friend, a friend in the UK now, he said that Jerry, I beg you, if Man United lose this final, please don't call me because he is already anticipating the banter because you gave yourself hope to the final and you lose,
United
and you finish the season. People will not remember. You know they don't remember your league table because you are in the final.
Yeah, United will win.
You know, I like the way that United is in the final so that there's no escape route. You either win or bust. So anyway, I wish you guys all the best.
Thank you.
That's how we wrap it up on the show this evening. It's been awesome on Locker Room. Big thanks to Maiwa and Ikechukwu and the guys behind the scene talking about the likes of Victor, not leaving out Alex, as well as Jeremiah and Ikechukwu. And of course, up next is Political Lens with Chukuma Okoro. My name is Jerry. Saying stay safe, and if not, 20 at all, do it the sports way.